Okay, so you guys get to stand by for a minute when I have to figure this out because I haven't done it in a while. Okay, it's going to take a second where we go live on Facebook. And so this is Testimonial Tuesday, and I am your host this evening, Robin Biscari, and I got to see a lot of you, which was so fun. And we are now in a whole new phase of LifeWave, I think. It's pretty exciting. Okay, stand by. I better focus here until I get this done. Okay, live younger. Okay, I think we are live now. Thank you, Liz. Appreciate that. Okay, is it showing up live? Yes. Okay,
Yes,
we're recording. We're live. Yay, yay, yay. And David is going for it. Got it. Okay, everyone. So good evening. Testimonial Tuesday. So what we do is we actually take the first short while to hear your stories. And Liz, could you admit people, please? Thank you. Are you co-host?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. And I don't have to pay attention to that. So this evening, what we're going to do is we're going to share stories, and you raise your hand when you're ready to share a story. And when not enough hands are raised, I call on directors. So if you're a director and above, just know you may be called on. So please raise your hand, you guys. We love your stories. Your stories are the lifeblood of our business. You sharing your story inspires other people to share with their loved ones, their friends and family and loved ones that really could use this product. And David, I'm going to ask you to turn your video off. Yeah, thank you. Okay, it was just a little distracting. I am glad you're running. That's wonderful. Okay, so we share stories. We have them be brief. We have them be compliant. And compliant means symptoms only, no naming of any diseases. We do not claim to heal, cure, or treat any diseases. We are a natural products company, and we appreciate everyone being compliant. And what it was like before, were your limitations? What couldn't you do? What was your life like? And then what patch you used, and now what you got liberated and now have the freedom to do that you weren't able to do before. So we're going to start out with whoever hands are up, and we're going to start out with Allie. And then when you come on the screen, please unmute your line. And then you get to share with us. Okay. Allie, you're on. You get to start.
Well, 2 years ago, I had been going through 11 years of numbness for half of this side of my face, couldn't feel, couldn't blow my nose. Anyway, 2 years ago, I was fortunate to discover X39, and within a matter of days, I had feeling back. I could blow my nose, and I kept going because now 2 years later, I don't just have feeling back, I have control of my tongue, which I didn't have for almost 12 years. I also had pretty much white hair when it started, and now it's pretty dark.
That's so great. Well, Allie, you have so many stories, and we so appreciate you sharing your stories in our Facebook group. And I'm thrilled that your life just it's cumulative. It keeps getting better and better and better, doesn't it? That's so beautiful. Okay, whose hand is next? Whose story do we get to hear next? I'm looking for hands. All right. Well, when I don't see hands, then I call on directors and above, because you guys are always ready with stories. So anyone else?
Robin, just to mention, I don't seem to have the ability to admit people, even though I'm a co-host.
Really?
Just so you know. Yes.
Okay. Let's try it now. Let's see if this helps.
That helped.
Okay, good. Okay, well, thank you, Allie. And I think Jerry is next. So Jerry, we're going to bring you on the screen. And so you get to go next. Thank you, Jerry.
Hi, Robin. Good evening. Thank you. There's just so many stories that I can't even imagine, but I have a new brand partner that has had unbelievable stories immediately, which is always nice to have your one patch wonders and fast results. And her husband, who is 82 years old and had lost, was in pretty good health, but could not get things going, is now back out there building another little barn. His sister, who could not walk without a limp, in a matter of 45 minutes was walking and did not know it. The husband that was diagnosed with a problem when he can't remember things has now been able to put 2 and 2 together and go about daily routines, which he hasn't done for about a year. Plus, went out and moved the car knowing that they needed the spot out front, and he hadn't been driving for a year, and he moved it to the side. The son, who had symptoms from when he was in the service, they came back, and he now is using the X39, and within 2 days has been feeling so wonderful that he took the whole sleeve of patches and divided it up between his coworkers, and has his coworkers now signing up because they are noticing difference immediately. So let's just all be thankful for David and X39.
Oh my gosh, that is so beautiful. Isn't that interesting? You divide the patches up. I love it. I love it. Okay, so who's got their hand up next? Casey, you get to go next.
Sorry, I don't have my camera on. For some cockamamie reason, I can't get it to work. So you just
Okay.
have to listen to me.
Okay, that'll work.
So I've been living in Texas for several years, and I didn't think I had allergies. But boy, did I get socked with something about a week and a half ago. It looked as if somebody took a barrel of water and just put it over my head, and I couldn't open my eyes. I was swollen. I was pain and all that. I tried X39 on the temples. I tried Eon. I tried Ice Wave. I tried it all, for like 4 or 5 hours. And guess what? Today I put a carnosine on. I didn't know about carnosine. I've heard you speak about it a couple times. I've heard Dr. Velvet speak, but I didn't know. Immediately I was able to open my eyes. I go, what the heck? I have to really research this. So thank you all for doing that, and I feel so much better.
Well, carnosine is kind of like the redheaded stepchild, where it doesn't get the attention that so many of the other patches get, but it actually is. I remember when Judy Daniel and I first started, because we were together doing this, and we were looking for stuff, and she just started researching, and she fell in love with carnosine. That was like her favorite patch. So it does so many things. And I've kind of been burning the candle at a few ends here lately, and we're up at 4 a.m. yesterday, and hit the ground running as soon as we got home. And I had a workout with my trainer today, and I was wondering how I was going to do. I patched up big time. And she said, "You're really strong today." And I went, "Yes, thank you. Thank you." Thank you, Casey. Okay, so who's going to be next? Sunshower, do you want to go?
Sure.
You're always ready. I love it. I can always count on you, and that's wonderful.
I can say three quickies. The day after I started using X39, and it wasn't even as a preferred customer or a brand partner yet, my sponsor was clever enough to give me a few X39. I go, where do I put this thing? She goes, just put it where it hurts. Well, I had a pain for 17 years, just under the left side of my rib cage. And it was like a stitch, like I'd been running for years and years, and it just hurt every day, and nobody could help me. On the second day, that pain was gone.
Amazing.
And I just had an experience in the middle of the night. I just got home from Orlando, after quite of a long ordeal getting myself home in Arizona. And you know how when I get a Charlie horse, it's usually in the back of the leg and the calf, you know. And I woke up with one, but it was on the side of my leg, sort of by the calf, but on the outside. And I was wondering, how am I going to get rid of this? And I thought, and I go, Eon, I think it's Eon. And I put it right on the spot, and within seconds, that thing was gone. It did return when I took a little nap just a little while ago, and it came back, and I just put the Eon on again. In other words, I took it off when it got better, and I put it back on when it seemed to come back. So if you want, I'll tell my smeller story. Otherwise, we'll let somebody go. Christina, that doesn't look like a girl here.
Okay, well, let Christina go, and you might want to come back if you want to share more, but this is a hot tip that Sunshower just shared. If you ever get cramps, you know, at nighttime, sometimes I'll get woken up and I have the Eon here, and I just take it from here and slap it right on, you know, where it hurts, and it's instant, and I'm back at sleep. So thank you. Thank you. Okay, Christina, that doesn't look like a Christina.
No, it's
That's
Brian, Christina's husband.
I love it. What is your
Hi.
name again?
Brian
Brian.
Holly.
Oh,
Yeah.
Brian, thank you.
Yes. I'm here with Christina, but the reason I was going to tell a story is because of the eye,
Okay.
how effective it was.
Let's get some people muted here. If you're not speaking, please make sure your line is muted. Okay, I think we took care of that. Thank you, Brian, for your patience. Okay.
Oh, sure. And so I was wearing the X39 because my wife told me to. And then I started wearing the carnosine because I heard somebody mention about that patch, and that's what got us thinking about the story, is because you guys were talking about the carnosine. And I had after some eye surgeries, long story short, some floaters in my eyes. And I had noticed after a couple of weeks of wearing X39 and carnosine, wearing X39 for a while, for a couple of months, and wearing carnosine for a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, that the floaters aren't there. And so that's something that improved after wearing the patches. I hope that's all complete.
You did
Anyway,
really good, Brian. You did really good. Thank you so much for sharing. And, you know, carnosine is actually made in the eye. And if you have an eye condition of any kind, carnosine is a really nice thing. And you can put it on your temples, or you can wear an eye mask at night and put it on the outside or the inside. It's amazing. So Christina, you want to share now? Or are you done? Okay, we'll go to, I think we have Rosemary. I believe you're next.
I'm trying to unmute me.
Okay.
I'm trying to get these buttons to work.
Listen, I'm with you, honey.
Okay, mine is a little different. I have a neighbor with Parkinson's, and I've been very anxious for her because
so before you go any further, this is where we do our disclaimer. We don't name any disease states.
I know that.
Okay. So why don't you practice and name symptoms? Okay.
Okay.
What are some of the symptoms that
Well,
your neighbor
my
feeling?
neighbor has one of the condition where the kind of uncontrollable shaking and deterioration of the body. And I'm very anxious for her to try the patches, but she does so many different modalities. She wasn't really kind of listening to me. So she has a senior dog who has the cloudy eye and real bad stiffness in the joints, can't get around good, tired a lot. And so I finally said, I really would appreciate it. Could you watch this little video, the one about Start X39? And could we maybe try the patches on Charlie? And I said, because a lot of people are saying they use theirs for 12 hours, there's still some energy in it, and then they put it on their pets. And I'm curious to see how that works. And she watched the video and they said, oh, there's nothing we can see that it would hurt, so we'll do that. several days later, we met up again, we're talking, and then she said, oh, yeah, Charlie's got more energy. He's really getting around more. It's kind of surprising. And she said, and my husband said, what's this going on with his eyes? And I was just, yeah. I said, I did not prep you for any of this. I wanted to see what was going on. And so now both of them are wanting, he's doing the research and they're both wanting to get on the patches. So I have more stories coming, I know.
I love it. You know, isn't it amazing how people will have their pets do things first, and then they and people will spend amazing amounts of money for their pets. But yes, so thank you for sharing, Rosemary. That's wonderful. Okay, we have got Corolla. You are next. Where are you? There you are. Okay, let's put you on the screen here. Yay.
Yeah, what I wanted to share is that a few weeks ago, I realized, well, I had a whole day to go to, and my head started to hurt a little bit. And I said, oh my, I realized I didn't have any patches on. So then I put the X39 on C7, the X49 a little higher up. And then on top of it, I put Ice Wave on kidney 1 under my feet, and then on top, because of my hormone stuff, I put the SP6 yet on my on my ankle, and lo and behold, a few minutes later, my headache was gone, and I even realized I had more energy, so I could go through the day. And what's very important for people, stay well hydrated, because that's very important to do that, right, while you use the patches.
Beautiful. And thank you for sharing that, Corolla, because for women that are going through their monthly cycle, I don't know if your headache was related to that, but if you get symptoms monthly through your cycle, SP6 is amazing, amazing. So thank you for sharing. Okay, let's finish up with Victoria.
Actually, I'm just cutting in because Kristen Townsend would like to speak, but her hand won't stay raised up. So you can skip me and call on her, please.
Kristen Townsend? Okay.
Yes.
Is that with a C?
Nope, I'm right here. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
I can hear you.
Okay, you're not going to see me, sorry. I just wanted I started patching the 1st of June. On July 4th, I stubbed my toe, managed to tear off the second toenail on 2 sides of the 3 sides that are connected to your toe. And I'm going, oh, I'm sure this is going to hurt like crazy. And I'm sitting there waiting for it to hurt. It didn't hurt. So,
Love it.
I mean, it maybe got up to a 5, but within a half an hour, it was down to a 1 or 2. And I'm still going, well, now what do I do? Because I'd never experienced this before. So I'm thinking, well, maybe I should call the foot doctor and have her take off the toenail, because I don't know what to do with it. And I have trouble bending sometimes. Well, I couldn't get a hold of the foot doctor. And it was a good thing, because I wouldn't have this testimonial. So I just put a Band-Aid over the toenail so that it would not get infected. And I put tea tree oil on it to prevent that. And then I didn't want it to get torn off inadvertently. So I just left the Band-Aid on and went about my business. It never hurt. And then I was taking a shower like the middle of September, and I looked at my toenail and it's going, oh, by that time I had stopped wearing the Band-Aid because it seemed to be okay. So the toenail had gotten white, and I'm going, well, this is different. So I bent over and I'm playing with it, and all of a sudden it was in my fingers. And I'm going, well, okay, I guess this isn't going to hurt either. So I'm looking at my toenail or my toe, and lo and behold, there's a full toenail there.
Immediately? That's crazy.
In 2.5 months. Mind you, I'm 76 years old. So
wow.
I didn't think too much of that until this month. And it finally dawned on me, well, silly, look it up and see how long it takes a toenail to regrow. So I did. And according to the medical profession, it takes 6 months to 2 years for a toenail to regrow.
Wow,
And that's if you're not 76.
that's
So
true.
I
Well,
am totally amazed. And
Totally amazed.
yes, totally. And beyond that, I'm realizing I have cognitive function that I did not have a year ago. And you know how you get to the point where you're thinking you want to say something and you can't think of that word and you're just crazy because you can't think of that word.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have that problem anymore. And
That's
I just
wonderful.
realized it like yesterday morning. So thank you for letting me share.
Well, thank you, Kristen, for sharing. It just keeps getting better and better and better. And it is cumulative. And for people in our age group, you know, the baby boomers and beyond, sharing the study about cognitive function and cognitive decline is, I mean, there are people that are on X39 for that reason only and will never get off of it, because people have sometimes a subconscious or an unconscious, you know, fear and concern about cognitive decline, and now they don't have to. All right, we're going to move on because we have our special guest tonight, and that's Dr. Barbara Jennings. So let me formally introduce her. She is one of our beloved practitioners that joins us on these calls, and all of our practitioners are just gems, and they all add tremendous wisdom. She is a chiropractor, and she has many, many other accolades after her name that are too long to mention, but she started out as a classical pianist and had a very serious illness and found a practitioner to help her with natural healing and became a chiropractor. And she is an expert in detoxification. And if you've never heard David's talk on detoxification, I highly recommend it to everyone. He believes we should do a detox or a cleanse once a quarter. You know, we live in a toxic world. So, and Dr. Barbara is, I got to see her in Orlando. That's always fun. I didn't get to spend enough time with anybody, but we're so grateful to have you, Dr. Barbara. So you want to come on, let's see, you want to raise your hand. There
I'm here.
Okay, so let
You
me
need me to raise my hand?
There you are. I found you.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hello, good night, good evening.
Evening, and I apologize for this little thing. I had a little procedure done and it'll be gone soon. So they're my new earrings.
Do you know what, Robin? I didn't even really notice them.
Oh, well, I started to share earlier and I didn't finish, but because I got distracted coming on Facebook Live. But we are live and Dr. Barbara's with us. And Dr. Barbara, you're a doctor, and I know that you get tons of people saying, try this product, this is the greatest thing. What's different about LifeWave that has you so engaged as a doctor?
Well, what's different about LifeWave, particularly X39, was the ability for me to easily and affordably offer my patients a way to increase their stem cells and therefore their healing potential and their ability to recover, regenerate, and feel better.
Yeah, I love that. I'm going to use some of that. There's some good things that you said, a lot of good things. And so when you have a patient that you see it's a good fit for, what do you say to them, Dr. Barbara, to get maximum benefit of utilizing this technology?
Well, there's a few rules, right? One is how to wear it. And fortunately, they all come with a little booklet and pictures of the acupuncture points to wear them. And those are default points. They're always a good option. You can never go wrong with those. You know, you can wear them other places. You can always put a patch where it hurts, but you don't have to. You can always wear it in the default point and not worry about getting complicated protocols, right? That's really, it's not necessary because the patches have a systemic effect on your body no matter where you put them.
Beautiful.
So Yeah, you can put it on a knee if your knee hurts, but you can also put it on your back and your belly and your arm, and it still has a systemic effect and will still benefit you. So that's one thing. The other thing, two things really, is that when, well, everything in your body works best when you're well hydrated, and that includes these patches, right? A lot of them work with electrical flow, right? David talks about normal tissue response and tissue flow, energy flow. Well, that's all based on movement, right? And movement is electrons and movement is water. So nothing works better when it's dehydrated. So drink plenty of water. And being well hydrated also requires electrolytes or minerals, right? I talk about minerals. Minerals are electrolytes. They're the same thing. Some people use the term electrolytes. I like minerals. Nobody has enough of them, right? Even vegetarians, or who eat tons and tons or more fruits and vegetables than most people, they're still usually deficient in some minerals. So that's something that is worth looking into, maybe supplementing in your diet in some way. And X39 also requires copper in your body. So you've got to have copper before you can make the GHK copper peptide.
Beautiful.
And we know it's the GHK copper peptide which will stimulate our stem cells.
Wonderful. And I just noticed in the Vibrant Living Facebook group, and if you guys are not members of that, there's great information there. There was a post on the benefits of copper. Then there was another post on copper-rich foods. So many people at this time say, well, what foods have copper? Go to Vibrant Living Facebook group and you will see a whole wonderful list. Okay. So thank you for that. Now, I know a lot of people always like to ask, well, what am I going to notice? How long is it going to take for me to notice? What if something doesn't feel good? What do you say to people?
I tell people, and I really try to do this before they ever put a patch on, right? It's very important to create a realistic expectation for people. And the reality is that they could notice something anywhere from the first day up until 4 or 5 months, and anywhere in between. And all of that is normal. It just means that your body may send those healing cofactors and stem cells to a place that is noticeable to you, or to a place that is not noticeable to you yet. So I always encourage people to give it time. Your cells don't turn over overnight, right? If we're going to heal things, that requires new cells that, they repair, they're being renewed, right? Old ones going away, new ones being created, and that takes time. And different parts of the body turn over at different rates. Some are very fast, some are very slow. So depending on what it is you're hoping will get better, you need to be consistent and patient.
Beautiful. Thank you. So you said people can notice it right away, or it could take up to 4 to 5 months, but it's always working on what's most important.
That's right.
So staying with it, because our bodies didn't end up like this overnight, and they probably won't be changing overnight. Although some people have a really quick response, and we love that. But, realistic expectations are so important with people. And, and I love that you share that with people right in the beginning, because, we live in this instant world and people want instant results, and you don't always get them. I mean, it took a week for me to notice something, and then it just keeps getting better and better. And would you just mention a little bit about the value of the health tracker and why that's important for people?
Yeah, the health tracker, I think, very, very important. And I mentioned this, today's Tuesday, yesterday morning at our 9 a.m. call. It's important because people don't really notice when things start to become more normal, right? That's my phrase. Normal is not noticeable. And I don't know how many times I've had a patient come in, you know, I've adjusted them, we're working on something that hurts. They come in for their next appointment and I say, oh, how was your low back, the thing that was hurting? And they go, oh, wow, I guess it's gone. You know, a week has gone by and they didn't notice it was gone, but that's why they came in, you know, leaning over a week before. It's not noticeable. So you want to, you know, at the beginning, before you put a patch on, the first day or two that you put a patch on, use that health tracker. You can use what's there. If you have some kind of complaint or symptom that's bothering you, add to it, you know, add to it anything you want. But give it a number at the beginning and come back to it and see how things might be changing. They will change.
Right.
They will
And
change.
that's what creates our stories. And like you said, when it goes away, we forget we had it. And
Mhm.
so, and this is what does create our story, because as Gregory says, when the lumpuckaroo goes away, you forgot it, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Anything else before we jump into some questions that you want to share?
You know, at the convention, I was talking with some people asking me questions about detoxing and about glutathione. Excuse me. I've been talking a lot today. And I wanted to share something about glutathione, if that's all right, Robin.
Sure.
Because I think people are, well, people will say that glutathione will pull out something, right? It'll pull out some kind of toxins, but there's actually a distinction between something that pulls out and something that pushes out. So glutathione is actually a pusher, not a puller. So glutathione is made inside of your cells and it pushes toxins out of your cells. It doesn't hang out outside the cell and drag it or pull it out, right? You make it in a cell, it detoxes cells, it protects your DNA, it neutralizes free radicals inside your cell. That's why glutathione is known as something that's protective against cancer, because its job is to protect your DNA. So it pushes toxins out of your cell. Then your lymphatic system has to come and vacuum up all of those toxins and dump them in your blood, and then they're going to be filtered out. And like, as you know, in my detox program, we use special binders that then catch toxins, right? They can grab what's pushed out and help escort them out of the body. So I just think it's helpful to understand that distinction about glutathione.
Whoa. Thank you for pushing and pulling. That's fascinating. And, you know, it is so important to continually do things that cleanse our body. Okay, we do have some noise coming from somewhere. I'm going to make sure everyone's muted. Okay, good. So let's start with the questions. Let's see, I think I'm going to start with Mikey. I know a guy who injured his arm, shoulder in a motorcycle accident and then fell on his shoulder on a job site. Now his arm has no feeling and is unstable, unusable. It has been this way for almost a year. He has gained just a couple of little tingles, but still no use. What do you recommend?
X39, for sure.
There you go.
X39. I would use X39 on the spine because that the nerve starts on the spine and then goes through the shoulder and down the arm.
So where on the spine?
Well, let's see. If it's his arm, so the lower neck. The lower neck is fine. So normally you're going to wear it on C7. I would take it up a couple, like maybe around C5.
Okay. Take it
So
up.
like the middle of his neck, I would wear it there.
Beautiful. And amazing things will happen, and make sure
and give it time.
Give it time, well hydrated, copper, minerals, 12 on, 12 off, and consistency. Okay, beautiful.
I had a patient who had significant nerve damage to her feet, both feet. And after a month, she started having sensation back on one foot. But after 6 months of using X39 consistently, she had feeling on at least half of both feet again.
Isn't that wonderful?
So that's a 6-month period of time. So that's a window of expectation I would give him.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Shirley, my left leg is numb. Here we are with numb again. Burning and tingling from the top of my thigh to the knee from a damaged lumbar. I use X49, Icewave, glutathione, and lots of Eon. According to palpitation on the lumbar and spine, my disc matter is going into a spinal cord in 2 places. Any other suggestions with placing patches directly on my leg? I'm told to deal with inflammation first before using X39. I know, that's I'd say I have the same look.
I'm confused about why you would wait to use X39. I agree that decreasing inflammation around that disc will help, but I don't know of a reason to wait on X39. Personally, I wouldn't. I would use it and see how you feel. If you don't tolerate it, the whole 12 hours, then start with 4 hours a day.
Beautiful.
But I don't know that I'm not sure why to wait on that one.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
So one thing that patches can't do is unpinch a pinch, right? If there's a physical impingement, patches can't lift that off. So if you have that disc putting pressure on a nerve, it can't necessarily suck that disc back in, right? So there is a time and a place where surgery might be necessary. I would look into distraction before surgery for sure. So I would look at distraction, see a good chiropractor, and use X39 and the other patches that you're doing a lot of the right things. I would just add X39.
That's the first thing to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's foundational to help everything else works better when you're using X39. Okay. So Annabelle wants to know, what's the best protocol for sun allergy? Never had this before. This was recent, only someone in May this year. So I meant, sometime in May, a sun allergy.
I have some questions about what actually happened. Was it sun? What kind of sun allergy? Most allergies are an overreaction of your immune system. Allergies happen when your immune system is overwhelmed by too many things all at one time, and then it spills over from what it can handle and you get symptoms. So decreasing inflammation is always the answer with any allergy. Okay, glutathione, Eon, X39. But with sun allergy, or with this question, I just wonder if there isn't a nutrition component.
Okay.
You could send me maybe an email with a little bit more detail. I don't need 5 paragraphs, but it might be a nutrition answer. Like you might need some vitamin F, vitamin D, some calcium.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, Casey, can we use glutathione on our own 3 times a week?
Yes.
Would that be effective?
For what?
I don't know. That's what she said. Would it be
Yes.
effective? Yeah.
We cannot live without glutathione. Everybody needs it. We all need it. I don't know of anyone who's ever had too much. Maybe it's possible, but I've never heard of it or seen it. So yes, please use glutathione. The more active you are, the more you need glutathione. Athletes need a lot of glutathione. If you're an active person, if you are an athlete, I would use glutathione daily. when you exercise a lot, your metabolism is working faster. Your metabolism is just this factory of waste products and free radicals, right? When you exercise, you create lots of free radicals, and glutathione is a free radical neutralizer.
Yay.
So that's why, you hear about these ultra marathon runners, these wonderful, really intense athletes who have a heart attack and die, or have a stroke and die. Well, those are probably related to inflammation. So athletes have a lot of inflammation. They may look healthy, but they need lots of glutathione. So if you're sick, that creates extra inflammation. So everybody use glutathione, I would say at least 3 times a week.
And I suggest, and I'd love your feedback on this, that people wear it during the day.
Yeah.
Because the lymphatics are like a one-way valve and they don't open and close unless we're either moving or they're squeezed. Is that correct?
That's right. Yep. Your lymph vessels do have one-way valves and they are dependent on muscle contraction to move your lymph system along. So walking is very good for your lymphatic system. Also, if you're detoxing too much too fast, it's good to know that during the day so you can take the patch off. I've seen many times where a person had too much toxicity to handle jumping into 12 hours of glutathione right away. So if you have somebody who has a history of chemotherapy or radiation, a history of a lot of medication use, a history of some, toxic exposures, lots of farmers have a lot of toxin exposures. Those people, I would recommend you start with just a few hours a day and work your way up. It shouldn't take too long, right? In 2 to 3 weeks, they should be able to use it a full 12 hours.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I heard that not all patches are 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Can you elaborate on which patches do not follow the 12-12 rule?
As far as I know, I think I'm only aware of Ice Wave being different. Maybe something I don't, Robin, but I think Ice Wave you can wear longer and you don't necessarily have to have the 12 hours off. Ice Wave also is usually something that a person is not wearing every day forever.
Right.
So, you wear it as needed when you're in pain, and day or night, depending on when you need the pain relief more. A couple nights ago, I had a lady she can't sleep through the night. She wakes up 5 times a night with a horrible headache. So she's sitting in my office. She had a headache. I put Ice Wave, right? Her headache was worse at the top of her head. So I put brown there and we tried the white one around different places. Well, the back of her neck was the most effective place. So I said, okay, tonight, before you go to bed, put it on right here. And she texted me this morning and said that she slept solid from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m., which is the first time in a long time she's done that. So Ice Wave at night, it's really important to get sleep. So I would rather have a person get a lot of, good quality sleep than, wear it during the day, if that's the difference. But wear it when you need it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That's wonderful. And, David talks about 12 on, 12 off. When I first started, Dr. Nicholas talked about wearing the patches 24 hours and then taking 1 day off. And he changed it just because he wanted to be consistent with David. So there are different ways, but your body does need a break from the signal. And it's not an absolute exact 12. Okay, what's a protocol for adrenal insufficiency? Is that a diagnosis or is that a symptom?
Say that again. Protocol for
adrenal insufficiency.
A protocol for that. Well, using patches, right? There's definitely more that adrenals need and that could use them. Adaptogenic herbs, ashwagandha, some other things are very good, but I would use, guess what? X39, Eon, glutathione, and SP6. Definitely SP6 in that picture.
Great, thank you, thank you.
I will say SP6 is one of the patches, probably the patch that our body can adapt to the fastest. And I had a chance to ask David Schmidt about that. And he suggested wearing it 5 days on, or 12 hours, always 12 hours on, 12 hours off for 5 days, and take a break for 2 days.
Good to know.
Yes.
And I did ask.
He also suggested either do that or alternate it with the carnosine patch.
Okay, great. And Annabelle, why don't you unmute your line, Annabelle, and explain the situation that you were referring to earlier?
Yeah, for sure I can. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can. Thank you.
Yeah, so like I kind of grew up with some allergies when I was young, like because of the heat, but nothing about the sun. So that kind of went away as I grew up, kind of overcome that somehow. And then recently, sometime in December, actually, I went to Cuba, and you know how warm it is right there. So I had kind of experienced eczema. That was the first time I experienced it in December of 2022. And so I had been told to apply the steroid cream, and it went away. Everything was good. January, I was healed. February was okay. March was okay. April was okay. No problems with sun exposure. And then sometime in May, I just kind of like went to my, it's getting ready for spring, summer, went to our deck and enjoyed the sun a bit. And it was literally like probably under a minute. And I thought everything was okay. I just under a minute of exposure, probably even 30 seconds, 40 seconds. And then in the afternoon of that day, around like maybe 2 hours after, suddenly all the hives just showed up, like on the skin that is exposed. And they were saying that, and it happened again, in June, and I think July as well. So what I'm doing is I'm applying sunscreen right now, and when it's so hot, it still somehow appears, but it's of course reduced because of the sunscreen. When the weather is like better, then it's working better. But I just never had experienced this before. So
right. So we know a lot of things happen in the sun. Right, sun causes a lot of reactions in our body. It causes us to make vitamin D. The making of vitamin D then puts on extra requirements on our body, and there are. It's a little complicated, right? We need ionizing calcium. You need vitamin F. You need different things to handle and be able to absorb the things that are made, those changes that happen in the sun. If you think about it, a sun allergy, that's not a very natural thing, right? That's not how you're designed. And, and that's not something you want to continue. So I would dig a little deeper and find out what are the sources of your inflammation in the body. Inflammation comes from 3 things: toxins, infections, and eating things that are not agreeing with your immune system. So you probably have some of each, probably detoxing, killing off infections, getting toxins out of your body, reducing your overall load of triggers that trigger inflammation. So your body is more tolerant, right? When you're overloaded with inflammation, you lose tolerance to things. And if you can't tolerate even sunshine, that's not a great thing. So reduce the overall number of things triggering inflammation. I would use sunscreen for now, as long as you're doing that. I put my contact information in there. There's a
I was
couple.
just gonna ask you to do that, so you did.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah, you're
Wonderful.
welcome.
Thank you, Annabelle, for the clarification. Okay, we're just gonna take a quick few more.
Oh, can I say one other thing? I would
Of
really
course.
focus on using Eon.
Yeah.
Right. Focus on using Eon to help balance your nervous system and your immune system's response to sunshine.
Great.
And where is the best spot to put it, doctor?
I'd wear it on the bottom of your neck.
Bottom of the neck. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so Kim is asking, what do you recommend for a teenage girl who's dealing with fainting spells, dizziness, heart palpitations, fatigue, anxiety? I'm trying to explain symptoms of P ...
I'm looking for this. Okay, I just found it. Dealing with fainting spells, dizziness. Okay, so that's a more complicated thing also, but we're talking patches. So I would use SP6 with this girl. SP6 goes beyond cravings, right? It actually has a positive effect on most of your organs. I would check on her diet, make sure she's not having periods of low blood sugar. Make sure she's able to balance her blood sugar. I would use Eon for sure. And probably the energy enhancer and X39.
Beautiful. All right, let's finish up with a really easy one. Bone density issues.
X39 and 49.
All right. The most recent study that was published was on muscle and bone density with X49. Good to know. Good to know. And
Wonderful.
just so everybody knows where to find the clinical studies, because they've been moved and they're in 2 different places and 2 different formats. So you can find the clinical studies if you go to your back office and click on resources, then you go to the left side of the page, you will see them there. Or you can go to with a different format, which is my favorite format. Thank you, Liz Hodges, is in the Live Younger Success website, liveyoungersuccess.com. And you go under the library and there's a tab for resources. And in that tab, you'll go under the product link. And in the product link, you will find the clinical studies there also. So for those of you that like the science and want to read more, when you read about SP6, it does many things, and support for the organs and hormonal balancing and yeah.
I thought Lisa would be
okay,
a little more
some,
standoffish.
okay, we got some people talking we don't want talking. Okay, I think we got it. All right, so we are going to complete our call for this evening, and I want to thank all of you that were storytellers tonight, because we are storytellers, and when you become a really good storyteller, the quality and quantity of your stories directly relates to your income. And I'm serious. So practice, 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 share, 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 share on these calls. We love to hear your stories. Thank you all for participating this evening. If you're a guest here this evening, please get back to the person that invited you and get started. All the patches come with a guarantee. There's a 30-day guarantee for them. And we have a wonderful customer program. We have a few different options. You find out what fits best for you. And if you're the kind of person that likes to share, we have a very lucrative compensation program as a brand partner. And then finally, thank you, Dr. Barbara. We love having you. We love learning from you. And it's always a treat to have you here. Thank you.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Okay, and everyone, I want to make sure everyone has your, before we complete the call, has your contact information that you put in the chat. So I just want to give another minute there, and now we will say good evening. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Thank you
Bye.
very much for standing.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Bye-bye.
Sorry, I mean,